Quest for Glory 4: Shadows of Darkness by Sierra, released in 1993 on floppy, and then re-released in 1994 CD version, which was the much better version because it had voice acting by some really good actors. And one of the key great actors in this is Jonathan Rhys Davies. You guys may know him as Gimli from Lord of the Rings. He's in Indiana Jones. He's in a lot of movies. He's got a great, deep, bassy voice. He's very funny. And what's great about these kind of voice actors is they actually get into reading their lines. And this game completely blew my mind. At the time, I was playing games like Gabriel Knight and King's Quest, so I was really into graphic adventure games. I was really into Myst. Myst was the first one I played. Myst is still one of my favorite games of all time. Absolutely great point-and-click graphic adventure puzzle game. But back to the game at hand here, Quest for Glory 4: Shadows of Darkness. This game is amazing. It has great voice acting, has a really neat setting. It takes place in like this weird Slavic type town called Mordavia, which I don't even think really exists. And it's very supernatural in its elements. And I don't want to give away too much. Like, I actually don't want to spoil the game. But the gameplay in this game is kind of a hybrid between King's Quest and RPGs, in the sense that there is combat, and it's really bizarre combat in this game. It's clicky combat, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. And a lot of the time in this game, you have to go around talking to people, picking up items, solving puzzles, finding clues, just to progress the story. And the game has a day system where, you know, like day 1 you do these tests, day 2 you do these tests, kind of like Persona, but not at all actually. And you just go to the bed in the town that has a little hotel in it, and you can go to the bed and sleep. And that's a day. But during the day, you've got to really utilize as much as you can. You know, you run out your stamina by practicing stuff in the Adventures Guild. But in this game, you get to pick between a fighter, a magic user, or a thief. And if I ever have an opportunity to play as a thief among all other classes, well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play as a thief. If you can do like a thief/magic user, man, you're you're basically God at that point. You are unstoppable. But in this game, it really matters in the beginning, like what class you pick. Because if you just choose a fighter, you're going to get into more combat. The game's going to be a little bit easier. If you use a magic user, the game's going to get a little bit more intermediate. And you're going to be able to do some things that are a little different than the fighter could. Just like with the thief. It actually matters in these games what class that you pick. You get different options in dialogue, different options in how you want to pursue something. Like when you first come up to the town, you know, you can decide like how you want to enter the gate, depending on what time it is. These things actually matter in this game, and it's very, very engrossing and interesting still to this day. Now, I know what you're thinking. The graphics are ancient, they're antiquated, and they are. They're pixel art, but I love the way this game looks. I think the art is beautiful. The background art is just really alive and vibrant. But the way the game starts is hilarious. You start out in just this dark, dank cave, and you're introduced to the narrator, Jonathan Rhys Davies, who's got one of the best bass tone narration voices of all time. Listen to his sexy voice. Listen to Gimli speak.
How did you get here? Who brought you here? And how in blazes can you get out of here? No, make that 5 burning questions. What city did your luggage end up in this time?
For me, the controls in this game are very intuitive. Being a big fan of point-and-click graphic adventure games, use the right mouse button to change your pointer into basically, you know, whatever it needs to be to affect the environment around you, which you have to figure out on your own. So you just start kind of clicking on stuff. The eyeball allows you to see stuff, gives you a description of what it is. It kind of gives you a clue whether or not it matters or if you can even affect it. The hand allows you to manipulate objects. You know, the feet apparently allow you to walk towards things. Yes, this game is almost entirely driven by the mouse, which I love classic mouse-driven point-and-click graphic adventure games. Obviously, that's why I'm gushing over here about it. In the options bar up here, you can adjust the detail, which I recommend cranking, and the speed, which I recommend cranking, and the difficulty or skill, and I recommend turning that down because this game, when you first start playing it, actually from a combat perspective, is very punishing, and puzzles, I'm telling you, they are challenging.
3 crowns and 13 kopecks. Find 30 assorted copper and...
So in this deep, dark, dank cave, the first thing you've got to do is start clicking on everything because you don't know what the heck to do. Click with reckless abandon until you basically find a few items that you need. You need the dagger, you need the flint, and then you need to go spark some flint on that torch over there. You pick up the other torch, you use that lighting to pry open the sphincter or door with your dagger. And then you can go through. And once you get through, you can see things are a little bit different.
You've made it into a large chamber. Stone valves, like the one you just passed through, apparently block 3 other passageways. There is a huge stone altar in the center of the room, and an exit to the south.
Now, using this game's own dialogue, I'm in a room full of sphincters right now, which is gross and stinky. So what you do is you go south here. You can't really tell always in this game where to go. That's kind of the tricky part of these older point-and-click graphic adventure games, is you don't always know like what you can click on, what you can interact with, where you can go. So you go south here, just go down.
Test the rope before crossing. It feels as though it's firmly anchored on both ends of the chasm.
So I choose to tippy-toe across this tightrope here, making it across just barely past those Cthulhian tentacles trying to get at me like some kind of terrible hentai anime.
Barely made it across the pit. You slip through the mouth of the cave, just in time to avoid being crushed by its closing jaws.
Is it just me, or is that incredibly goofy looking the way he's trying to cross over those rocks? Let's go see this Goyle.
You are alive. Only one person has ever walked away from there before. Who are you? How did you get here? Oh, there are so many questions I want to ask you, but I have to get home quickly. It is so dangerous out at night in Mordavia. The town is due north of here. Be careful, there are many bad things wandering around. Good luck! Oh, by the way, my name is Katrina. I hope you meet again sometime. Farewell.
Just so you know, everybody in Mordavia looks and sounds and acts exactly like a vampire. I wonder why that is. I don't know. So we exit here, and we get to this area where we have to basically allow ourselves to slip down this little hill. It's so silly. He's such a silly, slippery little guy. Upon leaving that area, you have to go through quite a series of beautiful art pieces, backgrounds that were hand-drawn. And I kind of sped this up here because it's a bit slow, his walking speed. So this is your little journey here, where you are quickly and promptly greeted by some combat with this ghouly little ghoul here. As you can see, I'm just kind of clicking, trying to fight him, and I'm just clicking on stuff, and you basically click them and try to push them back with your attacks. Because all you can do right now is just use your dagger to attack. Eventually you can do more. You can get better weapons, you can get shields, you can upgrade your abilities. But right now, this first fight here is a little bit grueling, because all you can do is just kind of click on them. Click, 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 click. Oh yeah, I kicked his ass, and it was fun. I liked it. Oh god, yeah. Now that I've kicked this guy's ass, I'm gonna of course pillage his corpse for some stuff, and he's got money. This rotting corpse has got money. It always blows my mind in games where like these ghouls, like think about Fallout 3, like why do the ghouls have money? They're not buying shit. Come on, Smoothskin, think about this stuff. So when you make it to town, and you notice those gorgeous jack-o'-lanterns staring at you, smiling at you, greeting you so kindly, like you're in Halloween fricking town over here or something, you get your first choice here, which is very dependent upon what character class and the stats that you do in the beginning. They really do affect the gameplay. So obviously, I'm gonna climb my big ass over that gate because I'm gonna get in this town. It's dark. It's dark outside. I'm scared.
They slip over the gate and into town.
On the other side, you're greeted with some of the most pleasant in-town MIDI music that exists on the planet. The first guy you meet in town is the Burgermeister, who's kind of like the local sheriff, and he's a dick.
Why are you here? Few strangers come to Mordavia. I am the Burgermeister. It is my job to know everyone and everything that goes on here.
So in every RPG, you got to enter that inn. That's right, you got to get that room, which you got to pay for. So let's meet that innkeeper. And as you notice in this game, everybody's kind of ugly looking. Ugh.
Rooms here are 15 kopecks for room and board. Pay for 1 week in advance. Your room will be the first room at the top of the stairs. When you want food in the morning or evening, just sit down over there by the door.
You unlock the door to your room and go in.
Ooh, gallons of garlic. That is a lot of garlic. So here's my humble abode here. This is the room that you sleep in. You've got a little chest. You can store your items because in the game you have limited storage for how many items you can hold on to at a time. So the chest is very useful for that. So pretty much in this room, you just sleep. That's it. Yeah, it's a room. I'll say it again, this game has really well-written dialogue, some seriously funny, smart stuff here. Listen to my exchange with this idiot Igor Gravedigger guy. This is some funny, punny humor right here.
Igor. Just Igor. Building was Adventurers Guild. No adventurers, no guild. Town Mordavia, this north part of town. Oh, this day job. Also work graveyard shift. Little graveyard humor there. Igor dig graves in cemetery. Igor put dead person in grave. Igor cover dead person with dirt. Igor put headstone on grave. Oh, plenty job security around here. Business is piling up. Little graveyard humor there. Again.
So anyways, you spend your time walking around town, talking to a bunch of people about a bunch of crazy stuff, trying to gather clues as to what to do next, and you find your way back into the Burgomeister's den of dickery, where he gives you the Adventurers Guild keys. So you can go into the Adventurers Guild and actually start doing some stuff that's fun.
It has been abandoned for many years, since we have not had many adventurers who could cross the swamp. Seeing as you are supposed to be an adventurer, here, have a key to the guild door. Perhaps you can find something of use there.
What the fuck is an adventurer? It's adventurer, motherfucker. Damn. How come the accent in this game is like Chekhov from freaking Star Trek?
I would not like to have you in my jail, after all.
Unlock the door using the key the Burgomeister gave you.
So once you get to the Adventurers Guild, you can actually do a lot in here. There's a way you can exercise, you can get your grappling hook, and there's a lot of secrets in this part that if I hadn't already played this game before, I would have never figured out. There's little puzzles hidden all over here. Check this part out. This is fun. This is kind of what the game's about. Nothing like working out in a video game. Oh yeah, not like I do this in real life.
Your legs are too stiff and sore to use this right now.
So after you're done working out in the game and not in real life, you kind of just jerk around reading a bunch of books. You climb to the top of the rope. You find this clue at the very top. You read a bunch of books about like the mythos of the game, which is actually really interesting. I enjoy listening to, and I enjoy listening to him speak. And then you have to solve this little puzzle where you have to move these hooks around in the right direction, if you're a thief that is, so you can open up this secret passageway and get into the Thieves Guild. That's right, y'all, we get into the Thieves Guild. Once you get over there to the Thieves Guild, that's when things start really getting interesting for us thieves. You can solve a lot of puzzles over here. There's quite a bit, actually, of course, and everything's trapped. You find some more books. You find some secret safes. You find this Mark II Thieves Kit, which allows you to break into all kinds of doors and do all kinds of fun, dastardly things. You get some more money, some more throwing daggers. And this is where the game really starts to pick up. And at this point, you're probably kind of seeing what this game is about. And I'm not going to show a lot of combat really anymore. I'm not going to show any more, really. That's pretty much the combat in the game, what it looks like. There's different enemies. And I don't want to ruin the story of this game. This game is all about the storyline. And in this game, you have to basically figure it out all on your own through solving clues and through time management. And these are really fun games to play that you can actually still get now. You can go on GOG, goodoldgames.com, and download this game for super cheap. You can actually get the whole Quest for Glory collection for really cheap. And they're all fun. This, to me, is the best one. And after this, it started getting really weird. There's a 5th one, Dragon's Fire. It is not the right feel for this game. It doesn't have the good voice acting, in my opinion, either. But Quest for Glory 4 is a game that is not a timeless classic because, of course, graphically, it's a little bit hurt. And the audio, which I'm sorry for not being in the highest quality, was designed for Sound Blaster devices. I'm emulating this game through DOSBox and trying to record it. So I guess my computer didn't really allow me to capture the audio that well. So I'm sorry about that for the little glitchings here and there. But I think you kind of get an idea of what this game is about. Quest for Glory 4 is a really, really fun game that is still fun to play now, especially if you like puzzle games. And I wish they would go back and redo this game, but they probably won't. And Sierra listens to their fans. They just don't have enough fans anymore because these games just don't seem relevant to people. They're not these big AAA action games like Call of Duty. There's just no place for games like this in the world anymore. And that, in my opinion, is very sad because there's something really unique and special about getting involved in this game, getting involved in the world with the characters. It's massively, amazingly well-written storylines here and character development, and it's very engrossing. And this is just something that doesn't really exist in games nowadays. I mean, you got games like Final Fantasy that have good, albeit convoluted storylines. You know, and other games like that, they have good storylines, don't get me wrong. But this game, they really had to get creative and resourceful with how they presented the game. This was top-tier AAA stuff back in the day. This game, back in the day when it came out, or before it came out, it cost $750,000 to make. And at the time, this game was on a restrained budget. That was a restrained budget. So they had to be really creative and utilize their voice actors well, make the story flow well. And another problem with this game, when it first came out on CD-ROM version, there were still errors in it because the floppy version of this game was famously super buggy. And it would just crash out while you're playing, especially in the swamp section when you'd fight like the will-o-wisps and stuff. The game would literally just crash out and give you this error that didn't make any sense. They've since patched it, and you can actually go to the Sierra support and download new installers for this so you can play on newer systems, which just basically auto-installs it with DOSBox. And in my opinion, it still doesn't run right. So it'd be nice if Sierra went back into this game and actually redid the game for like Windows 8, or hell, put this game on cell phones. I think these kind of games would be really fun on cell phones, considering that they're all point and click. The whole game could be touchscreen. Playing this game on an iPad would be really, really fun and incredibly nostalgic. Just clean up the graphics a little bit. I mean, keep them the same as far as like use the same assets, but just clean them up a little bit. It wouldn't be that hard comparatively to what games are now. There's not that many assets. But Quest for Glory 4 is still a fun game, and I hope when you watch this video, you can kind of see, you know, the charm that the game has. And I really appreciate everybody watching this video. If you like it, hit that like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. Don't forget to subscribe. Enjoy your lives. And if anything, tell me in the comments below some of your favorite point-and-click graphic adventure games. Mine are obviously Sierra games. I'm a huge fan of Sierra games. You know, Gabriel Knight, King's Quest, Quest for Glory. I love them all. I really do. But this one is definitely in like my top 5 favorite point-and-click graphic adventure games by Sierra. I love this game. I suggest you check it out. And again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.
Girls run. Not quite on the same standard as a nighttime castle raid. One of the final entries says, Fred and Frank caught out at night without hooks. Fred is dead and Frank sank. I'm the last. An ambitious thief will try to prosper by hook and by crook. The log closes with some incoherent ramblings about passing the deadly tentacled beast, then the horror, shadows of darkness enfold me, madness and mockery in the dark one's chamber. Sounds as though the author was in a chemically modified state.
Hey guys and gals, thanks for watching GameGlyph, and don't forget to subscribe.